Honestly, I don't know, but I've made a rule. I won't finish this video until I come up with a fucking answer. See, most gym goers at the start think, yeah, I'll never take gear. But it only takes a couple of years to realize almost every physique you look up to was only possible due to the use of anabolics.
Steroids, Brian.
And how can you even blame them when literally the better they look, the more money they make? And because almost everyone's doing it now, there's no real shame in doing it. And the thing is, steroids really fucking work. Yeah, your hairline might recede a bit, you might get gyno or a bit of acne, but would you take that on the chin if it meant making more muscle gain in a 3-month cycle than a lifetime of lifting naturally? These influencers will tell you not to take it and how they regret it, yet not mention the part where that's the only reason they got to where they are. The question is, how far do you want to take it? Because I think there are valid scenarios to where steroids make sense, which most soy influencers won't tell you. Yeah, they'll just chuck out a blanket statement like no one should take them. Meanwhile, they are. Yeah, so we're just gonna help you make the best decision for you. Number one, why are you lifting? Genuinely pause the video and ask yourself this question truly and honestly. Is it for girls? If so, steroids don't make you taller.
Skinny, tall, lanky, they're packing.
But honestly, most like an athletic aesthetic physique like this, which steroids do not require. But we made an entire aesthetic physique protocol for free in the description. You can download it there. Is it to compete in bodybuilding? Honestly, in my opinion, what the f is wrong with you? Do what you like, but going through hell and back, risking your life to get oiled up on stage in a sparkly G-banger for the chance of winning a plastic trophy is just not worth it. But if for some reason you do want to do that, you'll need gear and a lot of it on top of 0.0001% genetics. Is it to be an influencer? And this is where it kind of gets interesting, because do you want your brand to be based on how you look or the value that you provide? But to be honest, straight up, like if you want to stand out these days, gear will do that. Steroids are probably the quickest way to stand out and build an influence online, because everyone can go to the gym for a couple years and build an NPC physique, but few want it bad enough where they'll do anything it takes, trend alone included. Is it genuinely just for yourself? If it is actually for this reason, then do understand that you will most likely not feel any better about your physique on gear than you do now. Number two, do you truly understand what it entails? Are you prepared to inject yourself every single week? Are you prepared to deal with the possible side effects, acne, mood swings, aggression, hair loss, gyno, and on top of that, take additional medication just to manage those side effects? And see, training naturally is so simple. You really only need to focus on 3 main things: training, diet, and recovery. But as soon as you start injecting steroids, it opens up a whole new set of variables that you have to control. Yeah, and you might feel invincible when you're on, but then what happens when you get off?
What's happening? Your steroids have worn off. You're weak like everyone else.
And just know that you'll never be fully satisfied with your physique, especially once you know what can be obtained by simply upping the dose or adding other compounds into your stack. Number 3, how long have you been lifting for? If you're only a year into natural lifting, forget steroids. And even for the first 3 to 5 years, you're only still learning the skill of the gym. Pulling the trigger too early is a waste of time if you haven't dialed everything in as a natural athlete. And let's be real, most people plateau after 2 to 3 years because they're training like a pussy or because of garbage programming, when they're actually nowhere near their natural limit. Because building muscle, especially naturally, is a marathon. Even after 5 years, you can still make solid gains. Plus, if you're watching this, you're most likely about 20 years old or younger, which means by default, even after 5 years of training, you'll only be 25, which is still arguably too young to even touch PEDs. But I think the rule is simple. Commit to at least 3 to 5 years of natural training before you even have a thought about steroids. Yeah, unless you just truly don't give a fuck. In that case, just send it. Number 4, what do you want in the future? Where do you see yourself 10, 20, or 30 years in the future? If you plan on traveling, having kids, starting a family, steroids can definitely get in the way of that. See, the problem is, you think what you want now is what you'll always want in the future. And the truth is, bodybuilding and gym is a trend right now. With the rise of Sam Sulek and other fitness influencers, everyone wants to look like them. But even as of 2025, the search term bodybuilding is dropping. So you could be making a permanent decision based off of a trend. Yeah, it's easy to say you can just come off steroids at that point, but almost everyone that's taken them says it just really isn't that simple. So to answer the question, is being natural worth it? For me personally, I still don't know. But for you, if you've answered all those questions, you should have come to a pretty definitive conclusion about whether or not you want to take them. And if you don't have an answer to the question yet, it's best you don't touch it. Just for your information, we genuinely don't have a bias here. We are natural, but we are not for or against steroids. I think they have a place for everyone. However, I will say that I think you can take your physique further than you really think naturally, and I proved myself wrong with this very thing. Yeah, I generally think if a lot of you just pick up the fork and try to put on a bit more mass over the next 5 years, you can take it a lot further than you think, and then after those 5 years, that's when you can really consider whether or not you want to take shit. How can you say you want to take your physique far when you're not even in the Spartan society? Shameless fucking plug, boys. Link in description. We'll see you in the next video, boys.